welcome. Welcome to the book club, the 10th insight this go around. Sacred Wilds book club. You got anything you want to start with?
Spend some time and want to just offer gratitude for the essence of the sacred wild and allowing things to be honored and celebrated in their natural state of being, including time and space, including allowing things to be exactly what they are, when they're meant to be, how they are, where it allows us the opportunity to unweave the stories of guilt and judgment for taking time and space to do whatever it is that we need to do, whether it's play or integrate or rest or nourish ourselves. I was reflecting back on this about school, how you would get rewarded for perfect attendance, and instead of being rewarded for taking the time to do what you need to do for yourself. And so I want to celebrate both of us for being willing to take the time and space, allowing the medicine to weave itself into our lives from this book and all of our other experiences, and coming back when it was aligned for us so we could show up fully present for ourselves, for each other, for any of those who join us on this journey or watch the journey on the replay. It's not always easy to do what we are aligned to do instead of what we feel we should do or want to do. So just my offering of gratitude for exactly what is here and now. Thank you. Well, would you like to kick us off or would you like me to start?
I opened my eyes and looked at Maya. Maybe I have something. I shared the content of my childhood memory, but the other vision felt too vague to be described, so I didn't mention it. Afterward, Maya asked, "What do you think?" I don't know. The sprain seemed the result of pure chance. It's hard to imagine that the accident came from this need to avoid the situation. Besides, I have been in worse situations than this many times, and I didn't sprain an ankle. Why did it happen now? She looked thoughtful. Who knows? Perhaps now is the time to see through the habit. Accidents, illnesses, healing, they're all more mysterious than any of us ever imagined. I believe that we have an undiscovered ability to influence what happens to us in the future, including whether we are healthy. Although, again, the power has to remain with the individual patient. There was a reason that I didn't offer any concerning, or there was a reason I didn't offer an opinion concerning how badly you were hurt. We in the medical establishment have learned that medical opinions have been offered very carefully. For years, the public has developed almost a worship of doctors. And when physicians say something, patients have tended to take these opinions totally to heart. The country doctors of 100 years ago knew this and would use this principle to actually paint an overly optimistic picture of any health situation. If the doctor said that the patient would get better, very often the patient would internalize this idea in his or her mind and actually defy all odds to recover. In later years, however, ethical considerations have prevented such distortions, and the establishment has felt the patient is entitled to a cold scientific assessment of his or her situation.
So I'm gonna pause real quick. I was supposed to have my dentist appointment on Tuesday morning for my crown, and I had canceled it. And it was very, like, it made me so sad to experience that process because there was so much fear in like trying to be, and I know this wasn't consciously intentional, but this is again the way they were trained, the way we live life or whatever. But well, you really need to get this done, and the doctor said and this, and we need to, when do you want to get it put back on the books, because if you don't. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I get to determine, I know my body and I know how my body feels and I know what I'm guided, right? I get to determine what's best for my body. And it took me a long time to let go of that worship mentality of, I don't know what I'm doing. The doctor has the degree, not me. And walking through the experience of my mom having diabetes really opens my eyes to how much power we give to anybody who we deem better than us, whether it's an attorney or a doctor or a therapist or anybody that we put on this pedestal, thinking that they know us better than we do. And that's given me this requirement for any type of care that I seek from an outside source is that first, the first thing that they honor is that I know what I need. Whether that's someone who's giving me a massage or a coach or a doctor or even a boss or a friend. It's so critical for me that the reflection I receive back is that I have everything I need within me, that I know the answer, and that I know what I need and have the ability to give it to myself. And the support and care that they offer is a reflection of that or an amplification of that or guidance of that. But it just like, I don't know, it just hurt my heart to feel that like you should be scared, you should be worried, you should be coming through every word that was spoken and feeling so like feeling the pangs of trying to be controlled, of feeling manipulated, of I know how you should feel better than you do. I know the like, because I used to do that all the time, which is why I can see that. Like guilting people into doing what I need, making them feel bad for not acting the way that I wanted them to act. And just so much reverence and gratitude to be so grounded in my embodiment that I can witness that now instead of get my head all lost in the, oh my God, maybe I should, and oh my gosh, I should do this, and da 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 da. Like, just being in that grounded awareness and specifically around doctors.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that with my last dentist. I actually changed dentists because of it. I literally had, I had no, I wasn't gonna leave the dentist. I was just trying another dentist. So I got my teeth done with another dentist. And it was a couple months later than my scheduled appointment at the old dentist. for that couple months until I was able to tell them, no, I got my fucking teeth done already. I was trying out a new dentist. I got that same call. Like,
Yeah.
you're not that your teeth are gonna fall out of your head, but that's what it felt like they were trying to tell me. It's like,
Yeah.
no, listen to me. I go every 6 months. I know how to handle my mouth. I'm a grown man who takes care of his fucking shit. You know what I mean? And you're trying to tell me that I have to do this and that I'm gonna get in, and I'm in danger of not doing it. I'm just not coming back. I don't have
Yeah.
to. Those scare tactics
Hmm.
in the medical profession are huge.
And it's everywhere. Like the coaching business. When Steve and I were interviewing poly coaches, we had this one coach and we shared with them, like, we're trained in neurolinguistic programming. We do all of this, but we need some help to navigate this relationship because we're in a rocky spot right now. And this one person, like, she literally was like, well, how invested are you in your relationship? If you're willing to pay X, Y, and Z, that'll show and prove your investment in your relationship. And I was like, oh, honey, no, no, no. But
I get
that,
some of that from Poppy, actually.
well, and yes, and I say that too, because there is truth in that. When I was charging $75 a session, my clients wouldn't show up. My clients wouldn't do the work. My clients didn't want to change. When I began charging $200 a session, my clients come, get impacted in 2 sessions, and they're done.
Right.
But I'm not going to convince somebody to use my services through that.
Right.
That's the different piece. I will name that. I will name the investment they're making in themselves, but I will not try to convince somebody that they need me through that type of tactic of aligning what my rate is to your self-worth. Like, that is no. I will celebrate the fuck out of that, but I will not use that to scare you, guilt you, or shame you into using my services.
Right. Right. And call
Like,
every fucking 24 hours.
yeah, no, that's just not how that works. But that is a norm in this society that worked on me so much because I thought it was like, of course, it is my guilt and my shame that they're reflecting back to me and activating in me because I wouldn't feel it if it didn't exist. I'm just grateful now that, and that's that difference, right? When we step through that initiation of choosing to be responsible for our own emotional, physical, spiritual, mental well being instead of seeking out the people who are going to be responsible for us, whether it's a partner, whether it's a boss, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a doctor, saying, you need to be responsible for making me feel good in one of these realms or sexually. Like, that's when we take that power back and no longer will feed into those lack mentality tactics, fear tactics. Brendan Burchard, he has amazing content and is a beautiful teacher. But the moment I was taking his course and the moment he began describing how utilizing the scarcity mentality, the lack mentality, the fear mentality around, like, you have to tell people that they won't have this available to them in order for them to buy into it. And so that's when you go to those different sites and you only have 7 more days until you can purchase this.
Right.
My $7 NLP course uses that. And it's been $7 since I took it 4 years ago, but there's still a countdown timer because that taps into the scarcity mentality. Oh, if I don't buy it now, it won't be $7 anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't sit well in my heart to play on that.
Right. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when this
Mhm.
was sometimes patients dropped dead right before our eyes,
Oh,
just because they were told their condition was terminal. We know now that we have to be very careful with these assessments because of the power of our minds. We want to focus this power in a positive direction. The body is capable of miraculous regeneration. Body parts thought of in the past, solid forms, are actually energy systems that can transform overnight. Have you read the latest research on prayer? The simple fact of this kind of spiritual visualization is being scientifically proven to work totally undermines our old physical models of healing. We're having to work out a new model. She paused, poured some more water on the towel around my ankle, then continued. I believe the first step in the process is to identify the fear with which the medical problem seems to be connected. This opens up the energy block in your body to conscious healing. The next step is to pull as much energy as possible and focus at the exact location of the block. It kind of reminds me of what you just went through with the sickness.
yeah.
Although it's cool to see the doctors not have an answer too. It's not like
That was like a validation,
yeah,
and it, I was very happy to walk through that. And it's interesting because, like, I don't know what the fuck happened to me at Saguaro Man, but it's like my body will no longer allow me to hold on to any old stories without presenting something. Like walking through letting go of some old stories over the last couple of days. I went fucking deep on Tuesday night. I felt like I was in a medicine journey as I was listening to the playlist without being on any medicine. And it brought up the fears and insecurities. And then lo and behold, my throat started hurting a little bit in that same way that it had been. And so it's okay. And then as I unravel these old stories, then the throat gets better. As I'm able to identify these old beliefs and old identities and letting them go, my throat gets better.
right.
It's fucking wild. I don't even know.
Hang on 1 second. Yeah, it is. It's fucking crazy to watch.
Yeah.
I was about to ask how this was done, but she stopped me. Go ahead and raise your energy level as much as you can. Accepting her guidance, I began to observe the beauty around me and to concentrate on the spiritual connection within, evoking a heightened sense of love, a sensation of love. Gradually, the colors became more vivid and everything in my awareness increased in presence. I could tell that she was rising her own energy at the same time. When I felt as though my vibration had increased as much as possible, I looked at her. She smiled back at me. Okay, now you can focus the energy on the block. How do I do that? I asked. You use the pain. That's why it's there, to help you focus. What?
Ooh, yes. Yes. Right there. And that is,
And then the next statement, isn't the idea to get rid of pain?
ooh, yes. Right fucking there. Yes. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Unfortunately, that's what we've always thought. But pain is really a beacon. A beacon? Yes, she said, pressing several locations on my foot. How badly does it hurt right now? It's a throbbing ache, but not too bad. She unwrapped the towel. Focus your attention on the pain and try to feel as much as possible. Determine its exact location. I know where it is. It's in the ankle. Yes, but the ankle is a large area. Where exactly? I studied the throbbing. She was correct. I had been generalizing the pain up to, or the pain to the whole ankle. But as my leg was stretched out with the toes of my foot pointed upward, the pain was more precisely centered on the top of my left portion of this joint and about an inch inward. Okay, I said, I've got that. Now place all of your attention on a specific area. Be there with all of your being. For a few minutes, I said nothing. With total concentration, I felt this location at my ankle completely. I noticed that all the other perceptions of my body, breathing, the location of my hands and arms, sticky sweat on the back of my neck, faded far into the background. Feel the pain totally, she reminded. Okay, I said, I'm there. What's happening with the pain? She asked. I still feel it, but it has changed in character or something. It's becoming warmer, less bothersome, more like a tingling as I talked. The pain began to take on its normal sensation again. What happened? I asked. I believe that pain serves another function beyond just telling us that something is wrong. Perhaps it also points out exactly where the difficulty is so that we can follow it into our bodies like a beacon and place our attention on it and energy in exactly the right spot. It's almost as if both the pain and our concentrated attention can't occupy the same space. Of course, in cases of severe pain where concentration is impossible, we can use anesthetics to ease the intensity. Although I think it's best to leave some pain so that the beacon effect can be utilized.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause again because what we just read was huge. Because if we can apply this not just to physical pain, but to emotional pain, spiritual pain, mental pain, sexual pain, right? Pain associated with these different intimacies, because there's these different types of intimacy that we experience within ourselves and others. We have the emotional intimacy, mental intimacy, spiritual intimacy, physical intimacy, sexual intimacy, right? And when in connection, whether connection with ourselves, connection with others, and we experience pain, instead of trying to get rid of it by asking for change or asking for somebody to do something differently or asking whatever the case is, because this is very much the process that I go through on my own and I'm learning to go through in relation with others, is where there is the pain, instead of trying to get rid of it, we allow ourselves to sit and breathe with it, and then allow ourselves to hone in on the source of it instead of the generality of it, right? Like, it, we can allow ourselves awareness, and the pain, and it's interesting because the way they described the pain dissolving when there's attention given is the same thing that I've been experiencing the last few weeks with my body. The pain is calling for attention, and it's gotten so loud because we're not listening. We didn't listen to the subtle dis-ease or discomfort. And so now it brings forth the pain. And the same applies when we're in connection. When we ignore those little of like, this doesn't feel good, this doesn't feel aligned, this doesn't whatever, and we ignore it and we justify it or make it okay, or, you know, create a story around why it's not worth bringing to the attention of the people in connection, then it grows into something we can no longer ignore. We can no longer turn turn away, because it's going to be there. That pain, that struggle is there to tell us that there's something here for us. There is wisdom here, there is medicine here. It is a beacon. It is a like bell to bring your attention to where it needs to be. It is our body or our heart or the universe telling us, hey, look here. There is a message for you here. There is wisdom for you here. There is something that needs to be tended to here. And we allow ourselves to sit with it and be with it and explore it and be curious about it and name it and open ourselves to the wisdom that's being given there, whether it makes sense or not to our logical linear brain. That's when we get the juiciness of that transformation, of that expansion, of that healing, of that growth. Like what they described right here is